January of 2011 when realignment was first proposed, 1 year after our master plan was approved by the Board of Supervisors. And again, realignment, as you know, did not happen in a vacuum. It landed in an adult criminal justice system that had tremendous gaps and challenges. I think particularly prior to SB 678, the adult probation system in California was described as broken, particularly when it comes to the ability to fund programming for offenders. We in Sonoma County Probation had a risk needs tool. Officers were doing it, coming up with the lists excuse me, of needs that our offenders had, and they said, now what? What do I do with it? Where do we go? We did not have the resources like I'm sure most of you. And I have long believed that realignment will not reach its full potential until the underlying gaps and challenges in the adult criminal justice system are remedied. So we had lots of changes after our master plan came when we were faced with realignment, and we had lots of positives too, as you've heard Jennifer describe. So as we began to envision how we would move from SB 678 to AB 109, I, like all of you, was trying to figure out, well, what do we do now? What's coming? What is this about? Deer in the headlights, if you will. I think I've heard Linda Penner describe this as looking for a conversation starter. I was looking for organizing principles. And the best thing that I could think of was the master plan. We were fortunate. We had gone through, out of necessity, this process, and we had a master plan for the broader criminal justice system. It wasn't for anything like realignment. We hadn't known that realignment was coming, but that's what we had. And early on in its life, our CCP agreed that the county's criminal justice master plan should be the foundation of our realignment plan. This then led to some other principles that we quickly adopted, as you can see. Basically, the use of evidence-based practices, decisions based on risk. We very quickly funded a day reporting center, and we also funded a pretrial program. Because of the history of our master plan, why and how it was developed, its intent was to help fix the broad problems in the criminal justice system that I alluded to, not just smaller aspects. So the CCP, in using the master plan as its foundation, was biting off quite a bit. And I have to say, I'm not sure everyone recognized this at the time, what we were doing. Again, we were trying to figure out what was coming and trying to take some reasonable steps. But we were laying a foundation for trying to fix some of those pre-existing problems in the system. And this slide is a partial list of the more specific things that our realignment plan included that overlap with the master plan. And you can see, I know many, if not all of you, are doing most of these things also. But we felt very fortunate, I certainly felt fortunate, that we had some, again, the foundation, some guiding principles underneath. And this one is the critical piece for Sonoma County. We heard a lot yesterday about some counties doing the same thing, so I'm not sure how unique we are, but our notion of basing the realignment plan on the master plan allowed us to set the foundation for using $109 and resources, a new way of thinking, to fix things much more than just deal with 109 offenders. We knew that we had to take care of the 109 offenders, provide for correctional officers in the jail, supervision, but we wanted to do more than that. And so here's a partial list of those things that we funded through 109 that go beyond just 109 offenders. You heard Jennifer talk about the master plan included day reporting center. We could not afford that. We did not have the resources for it. 109 completely funds our day reporting center, but we've opened it up to all high-risk felony probationers. We have built in a couple of folks from health services, mental health and alcohol drug counselor, embedded into our adult probation staff. So they're available not just for 109 offenders, but for every adult offender coming in, and all POs consult with them and use them for referral. We have eligibility workers to help with this process that we didn't have before. So again, AB 109 will certainly not fix all of the pre-existing problems, but we were able to leverage $109 to tackle some of the gaps. This allows us to more effectively manage the offenders who were already here and to more effectively manage the 109 offenders who have so greatly impacted the system. ongoing challenge. We recognize costs of the programs will continue to rise. We're certainly not sure that AB 109 revenues will keep up. For example, Sheriff's been a wonderful partner with us, but just recently he had to open up a new unit. It's going to cost $800,000 for the rest of the fiscal year. We have a kind of a three-pronged approach to trying to continue to use the funds in the broader way and the best way for our system. Like most of you, we're going to have a very robust contingency budget. We are trying to make sure our data management evaluation subcommittee does some very strong work in helping us decide what works and what doesn't. We're going to have some tough decisions. We've already had some, of course. What can we continue to fund? What can we not? What will we not continue to fund? And then also recognition that we have to prioritize. And in terms of prioritization, we've taken a stab at this and kind of set it up in 3 tiers. The first tier is, as we all recognize, anybody that has more work as a result of 109 funding ought to be there for them. The second tier is kind of what we've been talking about. Can we use this funding to improve the broader criminal justice system that will have impacts, of course, on 109 and more broadly? The third tier is even one step further out. In the end, we may have to retreat back to just Tier 1. We're just not sure how that's going to play out. We do have one more strategy that I haven't shared with the CIO's office, and that is that if the funding goes down and we want to keep some of those programs, we'll of course go to the CIO and the board to see if we can't get some general funding for that. We'll have more discussions about that in the future, I'm sure. I'll turn it over to Chief Schwedhelm now.